everybody, my name is Dan Fagan. I'm here to present you a PowerPoint presentation on my strategic plan summary for Leaders 341 at Cal Poly Humboldt. So who am I? I'm a family man. I've been married to my wife for 15 years. We live in the city of Corona where I work. We've been married for 15 years. Like I said, we have 3 boys, aged 10, 8, and 5. They keep us busy with their football and hockey practices and games. We like to spend time together, camping, fishing, barbecuing, hanging out in our backyard, just regular family stuff. Also, more importantly, I'm a fire captain in regards to this class. I worked for the Corona Fire Department for the past 18 years and have been a captain for 7 years. So breaking down our organizational chart of the agency, we are led by Fire Chief Brian Young. Chief Young reports directly to our city manager, who is responsible for the day-to-day operations of our city. City manager is currently Jacob Ellis, and Jacob Ellis reports to the city council. City council are elected officials on the council. They are each from a separate geographic area representing the entire city. Below Chief Young, we have our Deputy Chief of Operations, Justin McGough. I'll break down more about his position in a little bit. Also, there is the Fire Marshal, held by Cindy Schmitz. Fire Marshal is responsible for all fire investigations and fire prevention and plans checks within the city, making sure we're compliant with the building department. Also, there is the emergency manager, held by Lee Shin. The emergency manager is responsible for coordination amongst federal, state, county resources, preparing city if and when there is a large emergency. Also, under Chief Brian Young, there's the finance manager, who is Viola Van. She's responsible for the budgetary constraints and budget makeup of our department. And like I said, she reports directly to Chief Young. So breaking down Chief McGough's roles and responsibilities, under Chief McGough is Administrative Battalion Chief, who is responsible for facilities and apparatus purchasing. That Battalion Chief is reporting directly to Chief Young with no one below him. On the suppression side, there's 3 battalion chiefs. So the way our shifts are broken down is we work 48 hours on, 96 off. So we show up to work for 2 days, and then we get 4 days off. When A shift is complete, B shift is on for 2 days, then C shift for 2 days, so that repeats every 6 days. Under each battalion chief, that's where it's broken down at the station, engine, truck level. So we have Engine 1, Engine 2, and Truck 2, both out of Station 2, Engine 3, Engine 4, Engine 5, Truck 6, and Engine 7. Each one of those pieces of equipment has a fire captain on it, who is the lead. Under him is the fire engineer, who's the driver and also managing the water pump if and when we do get a fire. Underneath the engineer are 2 firefighters. One of those firefighters must be a paramedic, meaning they're advanced life support or ALS qualified. They are the highest medical authority on the call. They are the ones responsible for narcotics distribution, for cardioversion, ECG interpretation. So they have a higher level of medical training on the paramedic side of things than EMTs, which is what everyone is a minimum qualified to. So the other firefighter is an EMT, can be a paramedic as well, but those guys are also, or girls, are California State Firefighter 2 compliant. So they've gone through their task books before they got hired, and they met state qualification levels on fire suppression capabilities. So that's the breakdown of our organizational chart. So in this class, where we really started to gather momentum was we developed a SWOT analysis. So my original strategy was in regards to response times and our deployment model and maybe breaking up apparatus, but there was more opportunities that I realized in this class, and that was learned about through the SWOT analysis, where we took our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we're able to capitalize on our strengths and maybe take advantage of some opportunities to mitigate those weaknesses and threats, which is what we did in class. So with that, I took my original strategy and developed into real-life strategies. And those strategies had emerging priorities. This is where I think the rubber meets the road, and it still meets my original intention, but there were some other opportunities that we could capitalize on to take advantage of that. The first one was utilizing modern technology. So there's technology out there that we currently aren't using that we could capitalize on to make us more response capable and decrease our response times. One of those is utilizing Motorola HTs, which are tri-band capable. What tri-band means is it communicates on 800 megahertz, ultra high frequency or UHF, very high frequency or VHF. So right now we only utilize a radio that communicates on VHF, which is great when we're talking to Corona rig specific or Corona apparatus. But a lot of times we respond with Riverside City, with Anaheim, with Orange County, with Chino Valley, and with Riverside County, and they utilize different communication channels that we can't talk on. So when we get a tri-band radio, that will allow us to effectively communicate with these other agencies and responding units and coordinate our emergency response more effectively. Another way we can utilize modern technology is by a new CAD system utilizing tablet command that will capitalize on vehicle locating capabilities where it utilizes GPS on each fire engine or truck. It takes the call and geolocates it and then locates the closest capable resource and sends that unit. Right now we go based on response areas or zones, and we fluctuate our apparatus through day-to-day operations in that zone, so we may not be the closest unit. So utilizing the tablet command system would decrease our response times by grabbing that closest capable resource. So those are some of the ways that we could utilize advanced technology. Another way we could develop our personnel is through training, and that would limit our employees from leaving our agency to go to another agency. So we call that a transient workforce. And right now, employees, when they're new, they don't get buy-in to an agency, and they're always looking to see if there's something bigger or better at outside agencies. If we develop our personnel training and train everyone with some opportunities that are there, whether it's hazmat, swift water, trench rescue, confined space rescue, we develop their knowledge, skills, and abilities. It creates buy-in and value to that employee. We are a medium-sized agency with only 7 stations. We don't have 100 stations like LA City, but we do have a lot of opportunities for our personnel to get trained up, and that would create buy-in, and maybe it would limit that transient workforce that we're dealing with now. Another way we could increase employee increase employee production with technology advancements. What I mean by that? Currently, our narcotics distribution is held at a central location. Our narcotics are regulated by the Federal Drug Administration, and they have to be under lock and key at all times. That paramedic has a lock and key, and he maintains control of the narcotics. If we administer a narcotic on a call, we have to go all the way to headquarters with an hour-and-a-half turnaround time to get our rig back in service to respond for the next possible ALS call. If we shifted the narcotics distribution to the station level, that apparatus would just have to return to the station and could resupply, and it's a lot quicker turnaround, keeping our rigs in service longer and not losing that call response times due to running to headquarters in an hour-and-a-half turnaround. So the feasibility of these, can we do it? Our limit in our agency is always funding. We are a tax-funded, limited funding capability, but there's some opportunities out there that we could capitalize on. One of those is grants, either at the federal or state level. There's many grants available, and as long as the parameters or strategy fall within that grant, we could submit for a grant and then get outside funding that's now coming directly from citizens of Corona. That tax revenue or funding revenue would come from those grants. It may be one time only, or maybe reoccurring, but those are opportunities where we could get funding from other sources other than the city of Corona. And that's why I put this tab on here. This is out of our budget. Currently, we only utilize about 243,000 of $34 million budget comes from grants. And I think that there's a big opportunity for us to capitalize on grant funding in order to meet our emerging strategies. So let's talk about the impact of these strategies. The biggest component that we would have to devote would be time. We'd have to create committees to vet these vendors that have these products and make sure that these products are going to actually fit what we need with these emerging strategies. So that's going to take time to vet that out, and it's going to take people of all ranks to utilize because we need firefighters, engineers, captains, and battalion chiefs just to provide input and a more global view to realize that these products could be impactful for us. Also, we need a time component to research other agencies and make sure that we're keeping up with industry best practices, and that comes through networking. So in conclusion, this is the real rubber meets the road of our driving forces. We want to prevent the brain and tissue death due to a lack of oxygen from trauma. We also, on structure fires, want to confine fires to the room of origin and remove victims threatened by fire. For wildland fires, we want to initiate suppression activities to prevent loss of life or injury and protect property. And then those other technical rescue components, such as hazardous materials, confined space, trench, swiftwater rescue, we want to remove those victims from harm as quickly as possible. And that's really the driving force of these emerging strategies and where we landed on our strategic plan. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the video.